Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
After having been in business broadcast, good morning, Philippines. It's Thursday, July 4, 2013. Welcome to Practical Business Now on its fourth season. On the show today is James Dantow, Vice President Worldwide Support and General Manager of NetSuite Philippines, a leading provider of cloud-based software. Also with us, Dustin Andaya, CEO of Island Rose, an online flower shop. It's all about the practical applications of cloud technology. I'm your host, Miguel Hill. After having been in business broadcast, good morning again, and we are aware that a lot of our viewers are entrepreneurs, either small entrepreneurs, medium entrepreneurs, or big businessmen even. And we are always in search of new products, new services that can make your life easier. And this morning we have Mr. James Dantow, who is Vice President of Worldwide Support and also GM of NetSuite Philippines. James, good morning and welcome to Practical Business.
Good morning.
Before anything, tell us about NetSuite.
NetSuite's a company that started 12 years ago in the San Francisco, Silicon Valley. And the original vision of NetSuite was to be able to run a business, run a complete business on the internet. And from there, our founder, Evan Goldberg, started working on a product which became NetLedger and eventually became NetSuite. We came here in the Philippines. In 2006, we opened up our office. We're located in downtown Makati. And since our initial opening, we've grown our office, and we now have a number of customers here in the Philippines that are benefiting from our cloud technology.
Okay, cloud technology, cloud computing, and it's built as a great equalizer. So before anything, tell us what exactly is this cloud computing technology, and how does it help the entrepreneur?
It's a game-changing technology that uses the internet for delivery. And I think some great examples are when debit cards came in and started to replace, in-house banking and retail banking. And then 20 years ago when cell phones popped up and they started to replace landlines, and the fact that you couldn't leave the house and get a phone call. I mean, today, who stays at home to wait for a phone call? Those days are over. Where businesses are now gaining efficiencies and being able to also focus on their business is leveraging the internet. Today, consumers and individual users go to Google and Yahoo and other types of applications, and using that same platform, that same technology, you can now run your business. So you can log into an accounting system, and that accounting system will tell you how you're doing, how you're running your business, and how you can focus on performing. The difference is, in the old days, you'd have to buy all that stuff, and it's expensive. And then you'd have to install it, and then you'd have to get someone to maintain it, and then you'd have to buy databases and so forth. So like the old phone that used to sit in the house, that piece of hardware, it's now gone.
Not so good for the smaller entrepreneur.
It's probably better for the smaller entrepreneur because, again, does a smaller entrepreneur have a cell phone? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do they go out and build towers and buy frequencies? No, they go to a service provider, and for a small monthly fee, they're given a mobile device so they can run their life.
Yeah.
Now you can take that same analogy, and instead of investing in all of this technology that's required to be in the office for a license, for a small fee, you can access the internet and have the same capability. So it's good for entrepreneurs because you take the money that you used to spend on the roof and the infrastructure, and you can now put it towards the core of your business, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's services, or whether it's a delivery of a great product like Island Rose to the Philippines.
Okay. I'm sure NetSuite has its share of really big clients, big corporations. But let's talk about the smaller entrepreneur. You were telling me a while ago that you have clients, you have customers that run companies with as few as five employees. So I can imagine, I can see how the technology that you provide basically takes a lot of the nitty-gritty of the back of the clients. So tell us something about your the services you offer for the smaller guys.
So every business needs an accounting system. Every business needs to produce cash flow statements, income statements, and balance sheets are basically financial statements. The way most small businesses do it today, they buy a bunch of hardware, they buy a bunch of software, they pay people to come and install it. And in the business world, that's called capital expenditure. They have to put a lot of capital expenditure up front just in order to run some numbers to see how they're doing.
Yeah.
In the world of NetSuite, that all goes away. For a subscription fee, you can log into the internet and you have access to all of those financial reports, but they're in the cloud. In an environment like your mobile cell phone device, you can access it, and instead of spending all that money on capital expenditure, you can, in your information technology, you can put that towards running your business. And if you take the example with Island Rose, here we have an entrepreneurial company here in the Philippines that's distributing and selling flowers, and they're able to take the money that they used to spend on their accounting and business systems and put it towards growing flowers, because that's really where the dollars need to be spent in managing their sales.
One thing that gives a lot of headaches to businessmen in the Philippines, especially those fledgling businessmen, or smaller businessmen who do not have the manpower, is their transactions with government. In this case, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, because of course that comes necessarily with the red tape, and even without the red tape, to send someone there to submit your forms, to fill in the forms, with cloud technology, you can do away with that, because your product is a BIR certified now.
Correct.
How is it BIR certified?
Most businesses today will produce a bunch of financial reports, get the BIR forms, manually fill them out, and by manually filling them out, there's potential for errors or misrepresentation or potentially incorrect information.
Yes.
And then they're stuffed into an envelope, or they're driven down and they're submitted. With the newer technology, all of the forms are pre-populated within the system. So what that means is at the end of the month or at the end of the year, you literally hit compute, and all of the forms are pre-populated. And that's what some of the new generation systems are doing. And in some countries, the pre-populated forms are then saved into a file format, which is then ready for e-submission. Now in the Philippines, I don't think we're quite there yet, but in other countries, it's very common to submit all your tax forms in an e-submission format. A lot of the technologies today are moving towards that, but NetSuite offers BIR compliant tax reporting that can be sent electronically if it should be available in the near future for receiving at the government end. But we do this in other countries as well. And again, that's just another benefit of the modernization of these computer systems. There's definitely the financial consolidation. Again, all those reports are generated for you. And if you're running your business, you don't need to be managing all this technology in-house. And again, it comes down to being efficient with your resources.
And we are seeing on the screens these are the actual forms. This is what your client, the customer sees from his end. Okay, so it looks pretty much standard, easy to, more or less.
It's easy,
to navigate.
and because it's internet-based, what you're seeing here is point-click technology. So in some of your standard desktop systems, you can't do this. But because our product is internet-based, these are what are called hyperlinks. And I apologize, Miguel, for throwing some technical terms out there. Yeah. But basically, you can click and do what's called drill down. A few screens ago, we had our dashboards up. And again, that's a very powerful tool. When you're a businessman and you log into the system, it says, hey, here's how your company's doing today. Here are your sales. Here are your costs. You know, here's how the company's doing. Dashboards is one of our most valued features within our product because it lets small and medium-sized CEOs see how their business is doing today. But again, on the screen, this is all click and drop. And again, people already know how to do this. People are on the internet. People are doing e-commerce transactions. But now you can run your company this way.
How long will it take for someone who subscribes to your service to get a hang of this technology? Do they have to go to some sort of seminar, or they can learn everything by way of the internet?
That's a great question. You know, we have some of our customers that implement in a matter of 2 or 3 months, especially if you've got a relatively simple set of financial statements. We have full training available through the internet, through our portal that's actually built into the product. We have knowledge bases. We have a user group where users share ideas and best practices based on either industry or the size of the business or the type of workflows or processes that they do. And yes, absolutely, the whole product is built around the internet, but so are all the supporting services and training and enablement, and really helping customers benefit from the use of the product so they can drive more sales.
Okay, James, let's get into some notable success stories courtesy of NetSuite. You were telling us about Rags to Riches, which is supposed to be an eco-ethical business model that originated in no less than Payatas, which is supposed to be a dump site, but because to a large extent because of the services you provide, it opened their business up to the world market, essentially.
That's a wonderful story, Miguel. You know, you've got this small community living in this site, taking literally scraps or things that people discard, reassembling them into bags and purses and things that can be sold to organizations that generate dollars for charity. In the old model, they would produce these products and they would go to a supply chain and eventually... A middleman. Eventually,
will probably take the bigger cut of the profit.
A bigger cut. And the people who need the money the most are the people who are putting these things together for food, for their family, for education, for sustainability. What we did is we donated our software. We set them up.
You donated the software.
We donated our software, set them up on the internet with our e-commerce engine, and now they get what's called fair trade value, which means they host the product up on their e-store, they sell it, and people, consumers from all over the world buy these items with the effort of donation, but the folks who are building it get the full dollar value for it. So rather than getting, you know, X divided by 20, they're getting the full value of X, which goes back to the community. And long term, you know, this community doesn't want to be, you know, one of need. They actually want to be self-sustaining, build buildings, build schools, and be able to contribute and help the folks around them.
Okay, we are coming to you via delayed broadcast, but if you're interested in today's topic, you can still text your questions or reactions to mobile number 0915-209-6012. That's 0915-209-6012. Or reach us through Practical Business TV on Facebook. We'll gladly forward your questions, your reactions to our guests. Practical Business will be right back after a few reminders. Don't go away.